If you're in your 20s and feel like finances are vague, scary, and adult stuff, I understand. I was there too. I remember vividly the day I got my first paycheck at age 22. It wasn't much, only about $450, but I felt rich. And I spent it as quickly as it came. I bought a pair of shoes I'd wanted since college. I went out to eat just for fun. I paid off some of my friends' debts, and the rest? I don't know when it disappeared. I knew nothing about investing. No one taught me. Not even school. I kept thinking, I'm still young. I'll make money and think about it later. But the problem was, I didn't think about it later. Age 25. I still live paycheck to paycheck, no savings, no investments, no financial literacy. I started to worry. A friend my age bought his first apartment, another is investing in crypto, boasting triple the profit, another just quit his job to travel because he invests enough to live on, and me, I panic every time my computer breaks down. I don't dare travel because I'm afraid I won't have enough money to spare. I avoid any conversation about personal finance. What shocked me the most wasn't that I was poor, it was that I had no idea why I was poor, and how to get out. You don't need a lot of money to start investing. You don't need to be smarter than the market, just stay in the market long enough. Spending money is temporary. Investing is forever. But no one said that, and it took me almost 6 years of my youth to learn that with money, time, and fear. You might think, I'm only 20, I have time. And yes, you do have time, but that's the most valuable asset that people in their 30s and 40s no longer have. If you start investing just $5 a day from the age of 20, and continue to invest regularly until the age of 60, with an average return of 9% per year, backhand index pointing right, you will have more than $1.1 million from the money you might be spending on bubble tea, clothes, or streaming. Young people have less money but more time, and time investment equals the most magical formula that schools never teach. 1. I thought saving is enough, so I didn't invest. 2. I was afraid of losing money, so I kept it in the bank where the interest rate was lower than inflation. 3. I let my emotions rule me with fear, FOMO, procrastination. 4. I had no system, no financial goals, no automation, no tracking. I kept thinking, when I get rich, I will invest. But the truth is, no one gets rich and then invests. They invest to get rich. No one starts investing perfect, and I was no exception. I started with fear, ignorance, and a bunch of the same mistakes you're probably making. I started investing at 25. Not because I understood the market, but because I was afraid of being left behind. My friends started showing off their profits from crypto, stocks, startups. A friend said, just put it in XYZ stock and you'll win for sure. I didn't want to be the only one left out, so I opened a stock account. Deposited the first $1,000. And bought whatever was hot. Mistake number 1, investing on advice, without a strategy. I bought a tech stock on a friend's advice. After 2 weeks it dropped 30%. I sold it out of panic, lost $300 because I didn't understand the stock I was holding. Then the stock rebounded, then went up 70% in a few months. I started to get scared. I thought, investing is not for me. I stopped investing for 6 months. I lost faith, but then one day, I looked back. The past 6 months, I was still working, I was still spending money, and my savings account hadn't grown much. I thought, if I don't learn to invest, I'll just keep running in this cycle. 1. You don't need to pick stocks to get rich. I discovered the concept of index funds, like the SP 500. Instead of picking stocks, I invest in the whole market. 2. The power of dollar cost averaging, DCA. Investing a fixed amount every week/month, regardless of market ups and downs, helps me avoid market timing and reduce risk. 3. Compound interest doesn't come in 1 month, it comes in 5, 10, 20 years. Warren Buffett says, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. The problem is, very few people are patient long enough to see it work. I invest $200 per month in an ETF that tracks the SP 500. I reinvest dividends. I no longer check my account every day. I have a 10-year no withdrawal plan. I am no longer looking for the get-rich-quick dream. I am looking for sustainable wealth and financial peace. 1. Don't invest emotionally, invest systematically. News, friends, social media will confuse you. Have your own strategy, commit to it and follow it. 2. Don't let not knowing keep you still. Even if you don't understand deeply, you can still start with a simple ETF. You will learn when you act. 3. Don't try to be rich in 1 year. Let yourself be rich in 10 years. Rich people don't take shortcuts, they go the right way, and for long enough. My account grew by 9% even though I did nothing special. I received my first dividend of only $15, but it felt like winning the lottery. I felt my confidence return. Turns out I don't need to be smart, I just need to be patient. One Friday night, I was having coffee with a longtime investor friend. He said, when you invest, you are buying back your future time. One day, you won't work because you have to. You will work because you want to. That statement changed my thinking forever. I automatically transfer $50 per week into my investment account. I don't have to think. I don't have to remember. It just works, and I go back to living my life with more peace of mind, more confidence. After many stumbles and lessons, I realized effective investing doesn't have to be complicated. The important thing is that you need a system that doesn't need to be perfect, just consistent. I divide my portfolio into 2 main parts: 80% index funds. Reason: lower risk, stable growth, no need to track individual stocks. I invest in Vanguard SP 500 ETF, tracks the 500 largest U.S. companies, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, average growth 9-10%/year. VXUS Vanguard Total International Stock ETF, tracks non-U.S. stocks. Europe, Asia, helps diversify the region. BND, Vanguard Total Bond Market ETF, bonds provide stability during volatile times. Each month, I automatically invest the following ratio: 60% VO, 20% VXUS, 20% BND, 20% individual stocks. Selective. Reason: strong growth. Learn more about market, but only for a small portion. I choose stocks that have the following criteria: large, transparent, consistently profitable company, easy to understand business model. I use their products/services, e.g. Apple, Google, Costco. Every week, I invest $50 in an ETF, automatic allocation, $10 to $15 in an individual stock if I see an opportunity. I don't wait for the market to fall, nor do I buy the bottom. I invest regularly like a machine, because I believe in timing, not in predicting. To avoid emotions and laziness, I set up 1. Automatic transfer from bank account to investment account every Monday. 2. ETF portfolio is bought periodically, auto buy. 3. Track performance via app once a month, not daily. I review my portfolio every quarter. If the skew is too high, e.g. VO spikes to 75%, I rebalance. I track total equity, annual return, dividends received, % equity. ETF allocation, key, simple, consistent, and disciplined. ETFs help you invest in hundreds of companies with just one purchase, less risky than individual stocks, no need for technical analysis knowledge, outperform 90% of professional investors in the long term. For beginners, ETFs are the safest and most effective path. I used to be obsessed with picking hot stocks, bottom fishing, surfing, but now, I realize, normal persistent equals victory. Instead of trying to be smarter than others, I choose an investment method that suits my mentality, time, and goals. Every quarter, ETFs like VOO will pay dividends, 1.3 to 1.5%/year. I set up the system to automatically buy more ETFs from that dividend. Compounding works more powerfully. 1. I know my goal, $500,000 in 15 years. 2. I don't change my strategy every month. I make small adjustments. I don't panic. 3. I treat investing like brushing my teeth, a habit, not a big event. The best investment plan is the one you can stick with. I am not as afraid of losing my job as before. I no longer worry about how will I live when I am old. I am no longer tempted by get-rich-quick schemes. Title: I'm not getting rich quick, but I'm buying my freedom back, one day at a time. If you're still reading this, you're different from 90% of people out there. You're looking for a real path, not a mirage, and I want to give you the most valuable thing, the belief that you can change your financial future. I'm not a millionaire. I still live a normal life, go to work, eat breakfast at a local cafe, buy cheap coffee. But one thing has changed completely. I no longer worry when I look at my bank balance. I know I'm building something sustainable. I know that every dollar I invest today will make me feel better 10 years from now. I can take 6 months off work if I want without fear of starving. I can refuse a job because it is not suitable. Instead of having to bite the bullet, I can support my parents, relatives, friends when they need it without having to say let's do it tomorrow. Financial freedom does not mean being extremely rich, it is the feeling of not being controlled by money every day. 1. Start right away when you know nothing. You don't need to understand everything, just enough to start small. An ETF, $5 per day, and a 10-year commitment is enough to change your life. 2. Don't compare yourself to others online. They brag about 100% returns. Crypto goes up x2 x3, but you don't see the risks behind. Your journey doesn't need to be fast, just the right direction. 3. Make investing a habit, not an obligation. When you treat investing like brushing your teeth, you won't procrastinate. Invest $20 every week. It's much easier than waiting for a free day to invest $500. I started out in the dark. I made mistakes, lost money, and almost gave up. But every time I looked back, I saw my path more clearly. Investing is not for rich people or experts. Investing is for anyone who has one thing in common: faith in the future. Don't be afraid to slow down. Be afraid to stop. Don't expect miracles. Stick with the habit. Don't think you have to be perfect to start, because you have to start to progress. 1. Open an investment account. In the US, Fidelity, Vanguard, Schwab. In Vietnam, Finhe, Infina, TCBs. 2. Choose a simple ETF like VOO, US, or an index simulating fund, VN30, VFMBN30. 3. Automatically transfer $1 to $5 per day into investment. 4. Repeat for 3 months, regardless of whether the market is up or down. 5. Read one book/month. Suggestion: The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel. You don't need to know how to pick stocks. You don't need to be good at math. You just need to know one thing: time the right habits. Persistence equals true freedom. 5 years ago I was afraid of money. Now I face it proactively, and in 10 years, I believe, I will be freer than ever. Start one day early, trust yourself just once, and build your future one small, steady, intentional investment at a time. If you found this video helpful, leave a comment saying I've started and share your journey. Subscribe to Money_VSQ for more simple, practical, no-frills strategies that focus on what matters, helping you live better with your money. We don't need to get rich quick. We need to live more freely every day. That's why we invest.